Where have you traveled to competing in either strongman or anything else? Like, where has this journey taken you? Any other countries, other states, anything like that?
Yes, such a great question. So growing up, I didn't really travel much. I actually didn't get on my first plane ride until college through athletics. And never in my wildest dreams would, when I think about all the places I've been, all the plane rides I've been from the sport, either competing or if I'm like helping host an event or run an event or something, it's brought me so many places all over. The coolest place, hands down, is Norway. I competed in America, strongest woman in the world there. That was by far the coolest place ever. I've also been to Australia, the other side of the world, and New Zealand. And because I met one of my best friends, she's a lightweight pro, Kia. She lives in Australia. And then we went to go visit our other friend who's a pro in New Zealand when we were over there. So I was actually thinking about that when I was overseas because I was like, wow, I'm here because of my sport. I never would have met these people. So not all over the U.S., of course, but those are the three coolest places it's brought me so far.
Do you ever go out of your way to make sure that you're like actually enjoying those locations? Because I know in the beginning, like we would like compete somewhere and we would go to like, I don't know, like Minneapolis. She would compete. I would go. I would carry her gym bag, but we would go to like a state. You know, we'd be in like Ohio, wherever we'd go. And it was like, we'd go there, compete, get on a plane, come home. Mm-hmm. And we did that so many times where I'm like, you know, we've like been all over the country and I haven't seen anything. It's just so bizarre.
That's always been my goal. And that's, you know, we were traveling together, you know, in Georgia. And I love that we went out because usually I'm by myself because a lot of other competitors are like so in the zone. And don't get me, I'm in the zone and I'm serious. But like at the end of the day, when I'm 80 years old and telling, you know, family these stories, I'm going to talk about winning hopefully and stuff, but I'm also going to be like, I did this when I was there. That's why I always have a plan. Like when I'm on the plane, even if I'm cutting weight and I'm starving or something, like it gives me something to look forward to. So I'll look up where I'm going and just like make a little itinerary of like 2 things I need to see. And that's usually I just go alone because other people don't want to. And I'm just like, you know what? I'll go. I'll have some random person take a picture for me. I don't mind being a tourist solo. I actually like it better. So I always explore no matter where I am. Even if I'm like in the worst city ever, I'll find somewhere to go.
And I think we had the same conversation in Georgia when we went to Georgia, we were like, let's just go see like Savannah. Let's go walk around. Let's go, you know, see everything. So
this is kind of a big question. And it was one that was brought up. Why is strongman so male heavy? And then how can we get more, I guess, strong women into the sport of strongman?
Yeah. So I believe it's male heavy just because that's how it started. And they've always, you know, the men have always been on TV. Like you've seen them lifting stones. Like when anyone doesn't know what strongman is, you just like, oh, the people on TV that lift stones, lift cars. And they're like, oh, okay, I've seen that before.
And that's how I explain it too.
Me too. Yeah, exactly. And then people will be like, oh, I didn't know women did that. So we still have a ways to go. But I think just like what we're doing right now is going to help it grow. You know, social media is huge. That's how people hear about it or see it in the first place. And just getting, you know, more women to talk about it and to not be afraid to compete. Like I'll have people that come to me and they say like, well, I want to train for X number of years before I compete. And my advice is always like, nope, just jump in or you're not going to learn. And then once you can finally get someone to jump in, I've honestly never had someone do it and say they weren't going to do it again. I really I've coached a lot of people and I've had people take breaks because of like life events or pregnancies, but I've never had someone do it and then not want to do it again ever.
Yeah, I could see that. Like once I dipped my toe in, like that was it. There was like no looking back. It's so much fun. And then one thing that I did, my first show was in Connecticut. So it was up closer to you. It was Battle of the Bells. If I remember the name of the event correctly, it was only girls.
Yeah.
It was girls only. And that was really helpful. Mm-hmm. I thought that like really made it easy to compete for women.
Yeah, I agree. And there is a lot more shows that are just, you know, women. Because I think that, you know, women that can be intimidating, like to have to compete in front of everyone and go against the men, things like that. So, yeah.
I think that's a big like misconception is that people think, well, I have to be strong first and then I can compete. Like we get the same thing with like when I talk to people about CrossFit, you know, a lot of people would say, well, I can't do pull-ups yet. So, I'll wait until I can do pull-ups and then I'll join CrossFit. And I was like, 80% to 90% of the people in the CrossFit gym can't do a pull-up. Like, you're going to fit in perfectly there. Like, the point of these sports is to like keep building as you go. But I think a lot of people think I've got to already be one of the strongest people in the world in order to compete in strongman. So I think that's just like a huge misconception that people have to start to kind of break out of and just get out and try, a local show and, just get involved.
Or even like little things like when we hit a movement, like say we have like, I don't know, circus dumbbell. And our circus dumbbell at America's Strongest Woman was super heavy. For each weight class, it was super heavy. So even for a lot of people, just to get one rep was a lot of weight. Like, it's a PR. And if you got two, it's like, holy crap, it's another PR. Yeah. So even like you go to these events, your adrenaline's pumping, the crowd is going wild. And as much as you might not win the event, you hit the PRs. And that to me is like, you don't get it. There's no place else you're going to get that feeling.
Exactly.
So you can take all the dinners in the world, hun. I'm never going to get that feeling.
I give you that feeling. Right?
But you know what I mean? Like, I think that's an amazing feeling.
I think that's the most important part. And I sometimes feel like a broken record when I'm talking to clients. So it's good that we're saying this like on an outlet like this, because so many women will say, they'll look at a competition and say like, well, I know I won't be able to hit that circus dumbbell or that deadlift, so I'm not going to do it. And I tell my story. Okay, I was in the same boat. When I first went to nationals, there was a keg. I think it was 165. And I was like, I know no matter what I do in 3 weeks, I'm sure as hell not going to be able to do that. Now, so many other people zeroed that I still made it. I think I got second place overall, even while zeroing an event. So I always tell people, like, if you think you're going to zero, don't let that hold you back, because there's the way the scoring works. There's so many more opportunities. And it's like, if it's heavy for you, then it's probably heavy for someone else. It should be,
100%.
I think I was just picturing what's the strongest games in Daytona, Florida?
Official Strongman
The official
games.
Strongman games. That was like 2 years ago when Kristen was competing. There was the one event. It was like the Viking press. It was like this big red apparatus.
It was my first zero.
It had two handles over your shoulder, and you had to push press the weight up over your shoulder. And the weight, I don't know what it was, but it was very heavy. It was a very aggressive weight. And I remember the first heat for the lightweight girls came out, and there was like 6 girls all lined up. And it was like 3, 2, 1, go. All 6 of them spent 1 minute trying to get one rep. None of them got a rep. And then it was like heat 2 came out, 6 girls lined up. None of them got a rep. And then it was like heat 3 came out, and Kristen was in that heat. And I'm like, just do one. I was like,
almost.
Do one. And she was so close to getting one. And like that heat was over. And then it was like the final heat came out, and like maybe 3 girls got a rep or 2. Maybe there's a girl who got more, and I don't want to like put her down. But like it basically was like 75% of the women didn't do 1 rep. And this is like at the biggest event in Florida. Everybody's watching. And I'm like, 75% of the women all got a 0 on that event. And it's like, that's kind of how the sport is. Like, some people will 0, some people will get a couple reps, and you'll have a couple athletes who maybe get a bunch of reps on that event. So
exactly.
It's not the end of the world when
Exactly.
you can't do a weight.
Yeah, exactly.
Somebody actually in the chat's asking, and it just caught my eye, what's your favorite event?
Oh, that's so hard. I like everything. Probably Atlas Stones if I had to choose. And they're not even my best event. I just think that they are the most fun thing in the world to do.
They're so strong, man.
Yeah. How about you?
If you
Car deadlift.
Okay. Good.
Just because that's how I got into strongman to begin with.
Yeah.
It's still just my favorite.
Yeah. It's a good one.
If you could like kind of close your eyes and think back to your strongman career, is there any like one event that stands out to you, whether it's like winning something or watching something or seeing something? Was there anything that like kind of stands in your memory as like, this was a cool thing that I experienced during my career?
Yeah, definitely. It was the Arnold 2017. Actually, it was the year I got my pro card. So it was.
I met you there.
Yeah, that was the one we met. Yes, that was the one.
Yes.
So I just knew. So I went into this contest. Literally, my mom gave me a ride to the airport. And at this point, I had missed my pro card the year before. Again, a whole year before, by a small technical error. And my body was just tired. And I was like, putting so many hours into it. And I literally told my mom, I was like, Mom, if I don't come back a pro, I'm done. But I just knew I was going to get it because I just I didn't care. But anyways, the first event. So
I'm getting goosebumps because I know the end of the story.
Yeah. Do you remember how I said at nationals I zeroed the keg? So again, the keg comes back into my life, and it was a very weird like pressing medley. It was you walk 10 feet, clean and press the keg once, walk or whatever, run 10 feet, do it again. And then one more, you do it as many reps as you can. So as many in 60 seconds. So when the training block had started for that 10 weeks prior, again, I think it was 170-pound keg. My most was like 150. Somehow, I don't know how, I won that event and I got 7 reps. So it was a huge PR. And everyone knew that like Brittany Diamond is not a presser. So like this is a block. And I won the event. Everyone's like, how the hell did you do that? And I was like, I just came up with my own technique. And that was the first event. And usually pressing is always first. And usually it's not something I do good in. So it just set the tone. It kind of proved to me that like, as corny as it sounds, like everything's mental. Like if you work your ass off for something and you want it bad enough, like it wasn't like I just decided. That was a whole year in the works of like visualizing me succeeding and kicking ass. So that was hands down my favorite moment ever. Just such a great feeling.
And you got your pro card.
Yeah, and I got my pro card. So